Okay. Video capture. There we go, video capture. Whatever. I'll just lower it to here. I guess that should work. Okay. So also let me Alright. Let me know if this is quiet because I turned it down. I turned down my volume, like the overall like audio input, to -4 decibels, so it should be like 1.8 times less than what it's receiving. Anyway, the Pulsar. It is an idea I came up with 5 minutes ago, even less, 2 minutes ago, because I was like, listen, I need a project. I need a name for the project specifically. So my name, or the idea of the name, was the Pulsar. The reason is, and this, I've been trying to make a video, and I was like, I mean, I don't have enough storage on my phone, so I might as well just make a live stream. So yeah, let's, oh wait, hold on, why am I not signed into it? Alright, okay. One minute. One moment. Sure. Alright. So, basically, it is going to be, in the very basic idea, the premise, either a wearable or a very light mobility object so far. So far, the idea is just imagine an object. That's it. Just like a thing. Imagine this orange. Pretend this is an orange. Imagine this orange, right? And we're going to transform this orange into the idea we want, if that makes sense. So, first thing, how large is this going to be? What are our confines? Because we either we carry this around, so it's going to be like, we can have it like the size of this box, right? Which we're not going to do. It's way too big. B, have it very small. Have it like the size of this case right here. This is screwdriver case. Anyway, like the volume of this case. Too small. Did I say that was too small? Too big. That one's too big. This is too small. Or like the water bottle. That's also a little too small. So what I'm gonna do is I'm either going to make this a big holdable or a medium wearable, which basically means like I can put this on my arm, or like on like tie it or something, so it's like it on attached, right? Or B, I think, doesn't matter, or 2, I make it a holdable. So it's gonna be it's gonna be heavy because you're gonna need to hold a lot of capacitors. So I'll get to that. I'll get to the capacitors a little bit later. So I think I already have a basic idea, like a layout. It's not in front of me or anything. It's just I'm just looking around because the camera is a little high up. But the idea is, it is going to be a wearable device which can propel an object. I'm trying to be very vague because I have no idea what the project is encompassing so far. I just know the premise, I just know the idea, and the operation in the math of it. I don't know like the physical operation. Based on theory, it's great. In theory. Now, let's get on with it then. What is the project? Well, you're going to have capacitors, supercapacitors in this case. So this is from a server, and they have 6 supercapacitors of 2.7 volts at 38 farads, which is quite a bit. But anyway, the point of these capacitors is to hold charge to an immense degree, because usually you would have, one or two. All right, there goes a bolt. 1, 2, 3, or 4 of these. I have 6, but I actually have no idea where that one is. So, or the other 2 are. So I only have 4 now. Anyway, you have 6 supercapacitors in these in series. So it results in, I think it's 16.2 volts at 6.34 farads, which is still crazy. Because the purpose of these, actually, I'm going to explain the purpose of these cards. The purpose of these cards is to, like, on an emergency shutdown of a computer system, it like slowly brings down the voltage. So instead of 12, 10, 8, boom, and then your computer shuts off, it's 12, 11 and a half, maybe jumps to 10, and then it's like 9.5, and then, like that. And if you have more than one of these, which you would have a lot more than one, it would slow it down even faster. Slow it down more. I guess both are technically right. Slow it down faster is... Yeah, slow it down faster. I'm going to say that. Right. So... Now, the reason, I was thinking about this actually today while I was walking around and making food. The reason I'm not going to use these, actually, like, you would think you can use these very easily. You can just plug in the power connector to this, right? You can, like, slot it in, it'll hold, and then you can just discharge it. And then, like, boom, reload and charge. I'm not saying anything pertaining to weaponry. Nothing at all. But I'm just saying, like, boom, charge it up, or like boom, discharge, charge it up somewhere. But you can't. The reason you can't is because of some of these microcontrollers. They're current limited, and where's the fuse? There was 2 fuses here. There it is. So here's one fuse right here. I don't know if you can see that. It's the tan one. Hold on, one moment. It's this one right. Oh. This one right here. And then there's 2 right here, which are actually shunts. They kind of measure the current going through, so they limit that. Anyway, I'm not going to be using these boards. Oh, show the board closer. Right. I wish I had like a flashlight or something, because my lighting is not the best. But this is made for computer systems. And the board is called... I don't know if that'll pick it up. My camera is not too great. But yeah. Now, I would advise following this idea, hypothetical situation, theory, calculations, all of this. I would disregard and only focus on the theory. Now, obviously, I'm doing this on my own terms, so... You can do whatever you want. I'm just advising against it because, Anyway, back to business. Back to what I'm saying. We can't use this board because there's a lot of safety features, a lot of limitations. So, I have 4 of these boards, which equates to around 24, I believe. So 6 times 4, 24. So I have 24 supercapacitors. Now I did also order 90 more. So. So I have 114 supercapacitors. Now you might be wondering, is that really enough? Like, they're so small. Like, look, each one of these is like the size of a thumb. No way I just said a thumb. Anyway, the size of a pointer finger. It's like, yeah. It's like, there's no way that's enough, right? Well, if you really think about it, this is already... Hold on. This is kind of already the volume of 24, right? If I were to stack these up, like end to end, just as an imagination. So, what is 114? Well, glad you asked. Well, I mean, no one did. I'm not making a pitch or anything. I don't have anything to follow. I don't have a script. But the premise, I think I already said that before. Regardless, the premise is I wrap my arm or like make a sleeve. I think the point of this would to be either make like a U shape so I can easily take it off, or make it a sleeve so then I can like wrap my hand around with supercapacitors. Because, well, supercapacitors are safe. They're not like batteries. They're not gonna, spontaneously just, they're not gonna become a visual fuse, right? So I'm not gonna burn. I hope not, but I'm not gonna burn. Now, my thinking in the sleeve is that it's super simple. You just wrap capacitors around your arm, and then there you go. And then everything else could just be like circuitry here, batteries down here. Because like when you lift your arm, you're not gonna be lifting your arm like this. I mean, maybe you will, but it's much better to be like this, because then your shoulder is holding up, or I guess your shoulder is trying to hold up the system rather than your bicep, and then like you're like this instead of, because you have much more maneuverability. Whatever, I'm not gonna flail my arms around. Okay. What was I getting at? Oh, batteries. Right, let's talk about batteries. So I was given a couple of dead batteries from laptops because, well, first of all, they're old laptops, and second, people don't really use very, very thick laptop batteries anymore. Like the ones you take out of the laptop. You just have them in there and then you charge the laptop, which I feel like is dumb. But I also have a laptop that has an integrated battery, so I feel like I can have an opinion about it because I have a Anyway, so here's these batteries. Now, I didn't answer the question of how many joules of energy there's in the capacitors. Oh my goodness, how could I fly over that? That's like the most important part of this project. So, each one of these capacitors has around 138 joules, I think, from what I remember. So 113 of them is, well, I don't know the math exactly. I just know it's exactly 15.8 kilojoules of energy, which is quite a bit. It is quite a bit. So this Pulsar, the Pulsar project, will have around 4 kilojoules in terms of, let me phrase this correctly. In terms of projectile energy for the transfer rate. That's it. Not exactly correct verbiage here, but I'm trying to be as like, as like here or there as possible. So 4 kilojoules per operation. There we go. So what I'm trying to get at is I don't exactly know how many batteries I'll need, because what I was thinking initially was just use AA batteries. I was just going to use a single AA battery, fully drain it, drop it, and then the capacitors are charged. But that was using the 330 volt flash capacitors, which are also great. Like, keep in mind, those capacitors are so great. But I only had like a couple of kilojoules worth of them. Actually, let me show you some of them. Let me show you the capacity of 330 volt like microfarad capacitors. That would equate to around the same to, no, not around the same. This is 4 kilojoules. This is 15. So that's 3.2, around 3.2 times less than my project right now. Okay. Alright, here we are. So I have them in this little cool box. This is including the charging circuit, so let me take those out. Okay. This is all of the capacitors that are used with 330 volts. Let me put them on my table and show you some of the notable ones. So if you could see when I showed you, we have this. These are 300 microfarads each. Now that is not very good. I'll be honest, these, I don't know why I saved these, because these are pretty bad actually. These are like I think it's 260 volt DC 300 microfarads, which, like, even this is better. Like, one of these is 450 volts at 470 microfarads. Is this not going to show up? Oh, there we go. Yeah. So there we have that. Now, here I have this semi-small capacitor, I would say. This one stores 2,300 volts at 200 microfarads. I'm just going to round up because I don't care. Now, this one is specifically an energy discharge capacitor, as you could probably read when I showed it to you, because this was made from a defibrillator, for a defibrillator. Now, you might be wondering, why do I have a capacitor that's made for a defibrillator in my project capacitor box? Good question. Moving on. The capacitors that I assembled and got are from flash cameras. So all of these capacitors, and I did count, there's around 400 of them. I say around because I counted them like 2 years ago, so there might be less now. But yeah. Where's the... Oh, right here. I was... what was I gonna do? Oh, right. So the Pulsar. What is it gonna... What is the thing that's gonna be... No. What is the acceleration force? Well, the acceleration force will be magnetic. It's going to be magnetic coupling instead of the physical rail-to-rail coupling, if you know what I mean. Now, it'll be coil-driven. So, not these specific coils. These were made for a different project. Specifically a large capacitor bank and then a big switch. When you switched the capacitor bank to short this coil, it would create so much EMF that, you know, devices would stop working. Momentarily, obviously, not for a prolonged period of time. Anyway, I'm getting too much into detail about a different project that I worked on. But yeah, the Pulsar, magnetically coupled. Now, if you saw the video the new testing China did, I found that interesting because, you know, it was most people say it was fake. Most people say it was like, oh, the United States did it first, or another country did it first. And then other people are like, wow, such progress. I was thinking like, man, so much inefficiency. It's a coil, it's an electromagnet. It's a big electromagnet carrying that speed. Now, both benefits and losses. Switching, the coupling, specifically from capacitor to coil, and timing. Timing is the most important one, because if you don't figure that out correctly, it can go... Alright. A battery fell. Okay. Pretend this is a coil, right? Like a big loop. Yeah. So the projectile could go from here, the starting position, and if you want it to end up over there, it can go, the timing, if it's bad, it could go whoom, boom. So the reason that happens is because a coil, energized, has a magnetic field going around it like this. So well, it's kind of like circular, so it doesn't really have a, well, it does have a direction, but it's like specifically in the confines of that coil. So it's whatever. The point of the coil is to turn it on and off very quickly. So in this case, this will be off, this will be on. So it's going to be off while it's still transferring, like, you know, speeding up, and then on afterwards. After its end, after it reaches, wait, no, it's the opposite. Oh, right, I remember. It's on until it reaches the middle. It turns off, so there's no dragging or like a kickback force from the coil. But yeah, this is what I'm getting at. If it is optimized, as I saw on the video, then, well, ideally, I don't exactly know what they did. I don't particularly care what they did. It just looked cool. Now, if that timing is optimized, it can be more efficient than a rail-to-rail powered system. Now, if you look on Wikipedia, it'll tell you around 50% efficiency from the rail-to-rail. If you, well, okay, let me get this straight. Rail-to-rail means rail gun. Coil-driven means coil gun. That's it. That's what I mean. Now, back to what I was saying. Rail-to-rail in experimentation and laboratory environments can reach up to 50% efficiency. Now, that is efficiency in terms of not driving to launch. It is launch to exit. Means from stationary propulsion. But the overall system is inefficient because you have sparks, you have sound, you have, you know, losses in heat. You have the I squared R equation, I think, is the loss of power, like current and resistance, I think it is. With more current, more watts are wasted. Which in this case, why not do coil driven? Well, that's what I've decided to do. Okay, let's get on with it. Also, I might use this just as a funny, but that's like way later when I'm already designing. That'll be way later. Anyway, boom, supercapacitors. Back to these. I don't know how I'm going to lay this out. Now I can make a lot of different like schematics. I can make this in terms of batteries. So this could be like 28 in series and 4 in parallel, which will be 112, but still. I'm also doing 112, not 114, because that's exactly the reason. I basically just spoiled it. I could have said like, oh, I'm doing 70? No, 57 or 58. I don't know. 50. Yeah, I don't know. I'm doing 57 in series and 2 in parallel. I could do that, but I'm not going to, because that means each bank holds 7.9. About 7.9 kilojoules. It's too much for a coil. It'll just evaporate. I don't want that on my arm. So, what I'm going to do is have 4 stages instead of 2 or 1. If it's 1, I'm going to need like... Oh, there it is. I would need a coil the size of... What keeps falling? The size of this. Because... Why is there just... Okay. The size of this. Because there's so much energy and heat that needs to be transferred from those capacitors, from the 15.6 or whatever kilojoules of energy, to the coil, that is just going to poof. So that's why I have 4. Because that's around 4 or like 3.5 kilojoules per coil, and that's a lot easier to manage. That leads to my next topic. From energy storage to propulsion, you need a way to charge it. You need a way to get the voltage potential from the battery, from a singular, controlling source, to a multiple, of smaller but higher energy sources, I guess, kind of. Not exactly, but capacitors can output much more current faster than batteries. Well, unless you short circuit the battery and then it catches on fire, then it's just releasing all of that energy in fire, which then it's faster. But I don't want my arm to be on fire, so I'm just gonna say capacitors are. Now, charging. How are we gonna do that? Well, I've thought of many different ways. This project has been on the back burner for what year are we in? 2025? Well, basically 2026. We can just say that. For 7 years now? Basically 7 years now. Because I've thought of a lot. I've thought of making my own circuit. I made my own circuit. I've thought of using a ZVS driver, which is a zero voltage switching driver, which is actually... Where is it? Oh. Which is actually this guy right here. Which I made by myself, if you couldn't figure that out. And it worked until it didn't. I don't exactly remember. Oh, right, the wire exploded. Yeah, so here, I remember now. The wire, if you can see that, is frayed, and it blew up. Which is not something it should do on my arm. Why is this... There we go. Right. So there's many different... Hold on, one moment. There's many different charging circuits I could use. There's the boost converter. There's the limit. It's basically a shunt which reads the current, but it's also limiting the current in how much current goes in. I didn't need that. I wanted to have as much current from a AA battery as possible. Now, why a AA battery? Why not like a lithium-ion battery or a pack of 12-volt, nickel metal hydride batteries, or something or other? Well, I was thinking the novelty of AA batteries is just cool. You have a small battery that can do so much, and it's only one of them. But then I thought about the logistics of it. How much time would it take to discharge a AA battery fully? We could actually do that now. Let's do this experiment now. Let's see the total peak current from a brand new pack of batteries, AA batteries. And I think it would be the same with AAA, but I don't have many AAA batteries. Alright, and here I have my multimeter. Milliamps. Oh, okay. So we're doing an experiment now. Just to show you, a AA battery is not a feasible solution. Okay, so it's set to amps, and let me try to do something like that. Oh, there you go. You guys can see that better now. Alright, so minus to minus. Let me see if I can do it also on camera. Plus to plus, and 3 amps, and quickly dropping. I don't feel any warmth yet. So 2 amps, stable. 2 amps dropping. Alright. So did the wires get hot? No. The wires did not get hot. So, but we do have now a mark. Not a mark, but like a measurement, let's say. We have a, hold on, I'm trying to read the voltage of the battery to see if it discharged much. 1.4. 1.4 volts. And it's 1.4 exactly, not like 1.49 or something. It's 1.4 volts. So it dropped an entire volt in not 5 seconds. It's like 15 seconds. So in this case, the impulse of that is, so if it's 15 seconds, let's say it's 2 amps, and we have a voltage drop of 0.1 volts. So if we average that out, that's 0.45 times 2. I meant 1.45. 1.45 times 2. Or I guess, what is that? 3/4 over 4/4 divided by 2. That's 7/4. That's 7/2. So that's 3.5. Okay. That's 3.5 watts. Right, yeah, that's 3.5 watts in 15 seconds. And that's how many joules it took. So 15 over 3, 5? No, not 5 joules. It could be 5. Actually, yeah, it very much could be 5. So yeah, all of that, all of those 15 seconds, and it only charged up this to 5 joules. Now that's not enough. That is not enough. 5 joules is like a fifth of one capacitor. And we're going to have 112 of them. Not enough. So, what am I thinking? What are my thoughts for battery? Well, thought number 1. The standard old lithium-ion battery. Now, there's a reason I have these. It's to use them. Now, they're all dead. Like, fully dead. If I try to press a button, so basically there's this voltage indicator, or I guess battery indicator, and I'm clicking it, and it shows nothing. And I have an identical one that used to do something, but now it doesn't. So it's also dead. Now each one of these is rated for 11.1 volts. Now here's what I was thinking, right? The reason I wanted to make my own circuit is because I wanted to boost from 1.5 volts to 330 volts. Now think of the logistics on that. That is an increase of 200 times. So it's very inefficient, and very inefficient to do. Now, an increase from 12 to, what would that be, 76 volts? That's fine. That's like 6 times, give or take. So, much better. Much more efficient. And that means, if I can do it from 12 volts to 100, much easier. What I'm trying to say is, instead of trying to rely on AA batteries to charge, recharge, and dispose of them, I just use rechargeable lithium-ion batteries that I can use from scrapped lithium laptop batteries to power this device. Now, you might be wondering, what are you going to use to boost the battery to capacitor? The 2 is the thing that I'm using to charge. I see. That's the answer. I can't tell you. I don't know, because there's so many circuits. Like let me bring some out real quick. Let me show you some, because there are so many boost converters, including the same like flash photograph ones. Where are all the other ones? Oh, I remember where. They're in my garage. Anyway, I have circuit 1 from flash camera, circuit 2 beefed up from flash camera. This one has 4 batteries attached to it, so it's 6 volts instead of 1.5. Hello, how are you? So then I have this one, which is a step-up boost converter from 8.5 to 50, and then 10 to 60. So this one actually won't do, because it doesn't reach our 76, I think, volt limit. And then this one is the same one, so my bad for that. What are you building? What's an idea? Well, what's the idea? So my idea, the project, is called the Pulsar. It is... See, I'm not trying to like sway away from the answer. I'm trying to make this so I don't get... Let me think about this. It is a wearable device where you can propel an object enclosed in it to high rates of speed. Now, it's very vague, I understand, but it is a coil-driven... Actually, let me specify even clearer. It is in the concept, in the theory, of a coil gun. But it is a coil-driven propulsion device. The Pulsar. That is as... right now, that is as concrete as I can be. I can emphasize some things, but I can't exactly say what it is without, you know, possible repercussions of my channel, which I would not want that to happen. But as an idea, I have to share it, because I feel like it's only possible for me to make stuff if I share it, and it's in the... Like, if it's an idea stage, I share it, and it's like, oh, then I start working on it. Because it's at that point, it's like a promise. Like a mental promise. But, the battery. Sounds really fun. Yeah, I try to make my projects as less mind intensive as possible, but just enough so it's so I learned something new, but it's also fun for you guys. Because way back, I don't remember when, but it was like a couple videos ago, I made a big hammer, and it was, I think, 80 pounds. It was called the MOP. I forgot what the acronym stood for, but MOPS. But I forgot what the acronym stood for. So, it is basically a big hammer in the shape of a mop. And I tried to mop it like I forgot his name. That one strong guy that like pretends he's weak, but he's actually strong because he mops. But right, I don't exactly remember what his name was. But yeah, I welded a big box or cube, majority of a cube on the bottom of a steel pipe, and put in I don't remember how much it was. I think it was like 60 pounds of lead, which is aluminum. For YouTube, it's aluminum. I think I just forgot the name of aluminum. And railroad spikes. And I think it was around 40 pounds of railroad spikes, so it equated around to around 100 pounds. But yeah, that was one of my other projects. Now, what am I trying to do? Batteries, right. I remember. Yeah. Batteries, right. So I need some way. So, okay, Okay, let's figure out a constraint. I have a marker. Let's figure out a constraint, because I need like a dimension of some sort. Because I can just imagine like a big box, right, attached to my arm, but that won't do. That's, not appealing. First of all, that's not visually or physically, because I can't like move or orient my arm like in any way. So what am I gonna do? Well, I'm just gonna make up some numbers. So let's say like that. That sounds good. I mean, as long as this side is flat or flat enough, because I want to control like the movement of this to my arm. So it's like very, I'm not gonna say concealable, because I'm not trying to take this out in public. Obviously, it's a project. This is not a thing to be presented to people. So easily wearable. Let's just say that. So this side, let's say, down to an inch. I don't know, like 2 centimeters. Sure, let's say 2 centimeters. So down 2 centimeters, and then the overhang can be. I don't exactly know. I don't know how heavy it's gonna be. That's the thing. How heavy is 116? No, not 16. 112 capacitors going to be? Actually, we can weigh it. Why not? We can weigh them out. Because I'm not gonna need two of these capacitors, we can do majority of the things we can do now. Or the majority of the things we need to do, we can do now. So, without breaking this board, oh my goodness, they really glued it on there. I mean, it is made for servers. Oh. All right, let's plan B, just pry it with a screwdriver. All right. Wow. Uh-oh. I think I dented the capacitor. I unfortunately do hear the the board breaking, so hopefully that doesn't cause any issues to any other capacitors, but it shouldn't. It has not been attached to power yet. So let's... Oh. Alright. Alright, here we are. We have a free capacitor. Now, we can A, cut it off, or B, desolder it. I'm leaning towards A. I already forgot what I said. I'm leaning towards A, but I don't think I have pliers. I don't think I have pliers. I do have these big ones, so I'm gonna try it with that. I just saw them on the ground. No. Actually, wait. What if I just... So what I'm doing is basically loosening up the legs of the capacitor. Well, not loosening them, but like breaking them due to like some sort of stresses. There we go. All right. Here we are. Our first desoldered supercapacitor. Now I'm going to get a weight, a scale, and we can weigh it. we can weigh it. Now precision doesn't matter right now, so I'm just gonna weigh it with the small guy. Oh wait, you guys aren't gonna see. Actually, yes you will. I can just stand up, bring this lower, hopefully without it falling. Lay it flat on my arm. It's weird. 7.8. Alright. Let's just say 8. Because we cut off the legs, the majority of the leg. So let's just say 8. Because, oh. Cool. So 8 times 100, that's 800 grams. And that's like a pound and a half. I mean, that's not too bad for an arm, but still, like 5 pounds or like 2.2 kilos. That's not too heavy, but just wearing it around, I guess. Well, to be fair, I'm not gonna be like 90 degrees, like my arm is broken on a sling, like this, for hours on end. It's gonna be 30 seconds that my arm is gonna be in that position, and then I can just rest it. That is, if it is in terms of the sleeve. If I'm holding it, if it's primarily held, then that's different. But I'm still thinking about like the sleeve being the main thing. Anyway, 800 grams plus an additional. Well, I'm not weighing this, but this is the kind of battery I would use. But this also weighs. I would legitimately say this weighs 2 kilos. Actually, I have a scale right here. Ah, okay, it only goes up to 500 grams. So let's see. Let's see if legitimately I'm right about it being more than a pound. Yes, I am. It automatically errored out. So it's at least a pound. So here's what I'm going to do. Because this battery is in series twice, so it's, what is it? 14.8. So that's 4 batteries in parallel and 2 batteries in series. Is it from a laptop? Oh, yes. It is. I have 3 more plus 2 more. So I have all of these to play around with. Now, it's not exactly the most amount of fun to have dead laptop batteries to be taken apart for a project, but it's still batteries. Now, what will be the bank for the batteries? Because I need 12 volts. I need, or I guess in this case, it's only 11.1, 10.8, 14.8, or something or other. But in this case, I'm going to make my own capacitor bank. Like, I'm going to take this apart, and then resolder and do all that stuff. But what will be the voltage? Because the higher the voltage, the easier it is to boost that voltage up. But the less amount of current I have, or capacity I have, to be able to use it, I guess. Because the battery bank dies at 2.75 volts. So the more amount of batteries I have in parallel, the better the rechargeability, I guess. One moment. Let me... Water break. I actually forgot to drink water today. Right. So. 14.8 volts. Oh, wait. Okay. This one is dead. But this one is 14.8, and it's pretty light. Actually, let me measure this. Because this one is, I think, only like one line in series. So let's see. 250 grams. 247 exactly, but 250. So that is... Well, what did I say? I said 8, so that's 800 plus 250. So that's 1,050 grams of just battery and capacitors. That is not including coils, chargers, and maybe MOSFETs, depending on what I use. But that is already 2.2 pounds. But that's fine. Anything for content, I guess. Not anything, but just for content. All right, let's start taking this out. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? So basically, these laptop batteries are usually just like plastic welded on. So if you can pry off one side, you can... Actually, I have a better idea. If I am prying, and then I just... Ah, that was a battery. That's why that's why I wouldn't let go. Because I was trying to disconnect the battery with a metallic screwdriver. Okay. Come on. What? I told you it was 4. Look at that. Look at how cheap they made this. They could have added 2 additional cells. But no. I can't believe they got exposed. How many years later? Made in Malaysia. It does not say. Does not say. These battery companies are getting exposed. Anyway. Here we are. This is plastic. Everything else is plastic. Here we are. This is all we need. All we need is this bank of batteries. And... I mean, that's it. What's really preventing us from starting here? Well, if you remember, I did say that the batteries were dead. Not all of them, just one, I think. But usually in these types of battery banks, one battery dies, the rest of the cell goes too. So, that's why I have my multimeter. We can read which batteries are dead and which one is not. So I'll just be reading and showing you guys. I won't be showing you guys I'll just be showing you which one I'm doing, like at a time. All right, here we go. So we have this one first. This one is 2.88. Perfectly fine. That's nominal voltage. That's on the low end, but still nominal. So then we have this one right here, the ground. Figures. This one is 200 millivolts. So this one, let me actually mark it down. Dead. Dead. And the rest should be fine. Now, obviously it's all speculation, blah blah blah, but I can reasonably conclude that 2.8, yep, and 2.9. So yeah, still. Experience pays off. Anyway, we're just gonna take the, there we go, and then there we go. So here we have the dead lithium-ion battery. Put that there, and then here we have the rest. We do not need any of these. Actually, technically we could use these like circuitry to figure out the charge of this battery. Very interesting. And it also has a thermal probe, so I might use this. Maybe. Let's see. What is this one? 10.8 at 400 or 4,000 milliamps. So this one then is connected at 3 in series and 2 in parallel, which you can see because it's the size of 2 and it's the length of 4? No. What did I say? 3. Length of 3. Right? Because 1, 2, 3, and then circuitry and like charging stuff. So I don't feel like discharging or using this because, oh wait, I didn't try to do that. I just realized it was like cracked open and I okay. All right. So I guess that happened. Yeah, so 3 cells in series and then 2 in parallel. Actually, we could use this because that gives us more current but less voltage. So I don't know. What would that be? That would be 4.2 times 3 is 12.6. So that's 12.6. Hello. So that's 12.6 volts at the high end. And so 3.6 times 3, because we have 3 in series, is 9, no, 10.8. Wait, why is this 10.8 then? I guess the voltage difference is like, you know, so drastically different. Oh, we need to still replace our batteries here. I forgot. The entire reason. I forgot the entire reason we opened this one up. Or I guess I accidentally opened this one up. Okay. So, let's take this out. And let's take this out and start looking. Because we need to figure out which battery is not good here. This one also has... Oh, this one has 2. Wait. This one has 3 temperature sensors, from what I can see. I can see it has 2, 100%. But I feel as the third pack also has a temperature sensor. Alright. Okay, I was wrong. Wait, no. No, I was not. Okay, it does have 3 temperature sensors, which is pretty crazy. Okay. Right, let's find the bad pack. Or the bad section. Because I think it would be one bad, like, entire section. So it would be like, this is bad, or this is bad. Unless it's, like, drastically different, then I have no idea. But let's see. Let's see. Maybe I'm proven wrong. So this one 2.16. That is very low. I will say that is very low. For lithium-ion batteries, okay. Moving on. Let's just say that's fine, because it is technically usable, but it's not very safe to charge. 3.18, 2.18. So still also very low. What did I say my first number was? Oh, 1.6. We found the bad, the bad batteries. Right here. These two are dead. Not really. Technically, they can still be charged up because they do have a voltage. Because they're at 1.6, I think I said. Let me check again, because just to make sure. Yeah, 1.6. Because they're still at a voltage high enough that they can receive current, they can still be reused. But I feel like with the batteries being cycled a lot, there's a difference between all three of these cells and the capacities of all three of these cells. So we're going to make do with what we have and say these are... I'm just going to say no on them. That's what I'm going to say. Or write no. Alright, so that's that. Okay. We have this one. 10.8 at 5200. Yeah, 5200 milliamp hours. So these one are high capacity batteries, but I don't remember if I had a laptop for this. So, because it doesn't have a charge indicator, so we're just gonna, where's my screwdriver? Alright, I'm just gonna try this without the screwdriver. Okay, never mind, let's, okay. It's either I find the screwdriver or I start using a knife. And I do not want to use a knife. Did my... Oh, it did. Of course it did. Alright. Now the one thing you don't want to do is puncture a battery. Like what I just did. Well, no, I didn't puncture a battery. I dented it. That's not something you would want to do. Okay. Okay. So now. Okay. Okay, one moment. I'm trying to figure out how I could open this up without shorting every single thing I can find out. Please don't say these are glued in here. Alright. I made an opening. Now, from the looks of it, pretty good cells. But, wow. Wow. Okay. Alright. Let's, okay, there we go. Making progress. Okay. Wow. Quite the I don't even know how to describe that. It's like, I think they both glued and epoxied it on. I would not be surprised if they did do that. From what I can see, they used double-sided tape. Okay, let's just, remove some of the unnecessary things. There we go. And then we continue doing the same thing I was doing. Okay, wow. Okay, yeah, they did. Look at this tape. Look at this double-sided tape. Oh, I have this. It's reinforced. It's like, it's the weather sealant, everything sealant tape. Should have gotten like gloves or something, but what are you gonna do? It is what it is. Okay. So let's continue. Let's continue. Okay. I'm just gonna not think about the many noises I'm hearing as I'm prying this up. Not the plastic breaking, but the actual, like, metal to metal contact of the, like, screwdriver and battery. Okay. Now, let's pry it out. Now that this is pried off, we can take it out. There we go. Boom. Here we are. 3 cells, 1 charger, and all the cool stuff that we get with the charger. Yeah. Alright. Let's see. What are these cells? I don't think they say. They would say, but that's okay. They're high capacity. Because I do trust the actual, like, rating of them, they wouldn't lie. Alright. So let's start with the ground. 2.5. That's good. It's good enough. Let's just say that. We have 2.845, so 2.85, and then the last one, 2.6. Weird. So either the batteries are actually not meant for this, as in these are high discharge capacitance, not high capacity. There is a difference. Like, high discharge would be capacitors versus batteries, and capacity would be these have much more capacitance than these. Anyway, I'm getting confusing. This could work. These batteries could work because they're all alive. They're all from the same pack, and they also come with a charging circuit, which I would use. That's it, which I would just use. So I feel like this is our best candidate so far. But it is lower voltage. I would add another pack just like up here, but the arm thing that I was talking about. Because remember, we're trying to put capacitors on the perimeter, or I guess on the bottom. Actually, what is the okay? Yeah, so I guess just like in line. how can I show this? There it is. In line with like the bottom of my arm. So it's just going to be lined like this, and then probably just a band around, or a couple, because 112 is a lot. 112 is a lot. But we do need a place to put the batteries, which is allocated for the top. The reason of the top is because this is pointed away. This is pointed away, and I can't exactly bring it towards me because arms don't function like that. Like, this is as close to me as you can do it, but I wouldn't do that, so it's much safer, including if I want to bring my arm in or like maneuver my arm in a way. The battery is farther. Also, 10.8 volts is, I think, the limit of the minimum amount of voltage I can actually use a boost converter for. Anything above that, I need to make my own circuit to boost it to 76 volts, I think it is. Let me see, actually, because I keep like mentioning like 70 something volts, but let me actually see. I have a calculator right here. So what did I say? 2.7 volts times 28 in one bank. So yeah, 75.6. 76. Okay, we have figured it out. We're going to be using 10.8 volts. Was this 10.8? What did it say? There it is. 10.8, yeah. I'll be using 10.8 because the range goes from 10.8 to 12.2. I don't remember. I know it's 12 point something. So that's good. Now, I think I will add another cell, like another thing of batteries in parallel. So there's going to be 3 batteries instead of 2, which will greatly improve the capacity. Instead of it being, what is it, 5,800? 5,200? It's going to be, what is that, divided by 2, so that's 2,600. And that's plus 5,200, so that's 7,800 milliamps, which overall is great. That's 7.8 amps times, let's say 10.8 volts. What is it? Wait, 7.8, yeah, there it is. 84 and a quarter watts of power, watt-hours of power. I guess that's what they're measured in. Milliamp hours, yeah. Watt-hours. So yeah, that is plenty. That is plenty of power for... I think it's just plenty of power. Like, that's only 6... Wait, no, not 6. That's only 9 lithium-ion batteries for the project, for the Pulsar. Battery. Now, what is it going to be made of? Probably plastic. I have a 3D printer. Actually, not really. I don't have the plastic to the 3D printer. But yeah, I have a 3D printer. So I might just make it like a half thing. So it's like half and then a box goes on top. Here's what I'm thinking. Let me draw this out. Actually, let me draw this out. Where do I have a piece of paper? Or a whiteboard, or a something? Oh. Okay. Here we go. Now we're in business. Okay. So, here we go. We have a board that I can show you. Oh, and it looks good on camera. So yeah. So, how does my forearm look? Actually, I'm just going to trace out my forearm. So let me see. Okay, here's my forearm, all traced out. So here I'm gonna have, like, this is my elbow, right? So it goes like that, something like that, and then this is my arm. So it's, I guess I should also have my arm in here. So here's my hand. This is the line to my hand. So I would need it about, wait. Okay. So here I would need like a stick or some other thing to hold the contraption on. Here I'm going to have, so where exactly? So, right. From, I guess, the knuckles. So this is the knuckle. So let's say here. Something like that. It's the line. It's going to be like that. I don't know if you can see that. But then there's going to be the batteries. So it's going to be, actually, they fit just enough. They fit just barely enough. Okay. Actually, the good thing about these batteries is that they're also flexible. So as you can see, it's conforming to a shape of, to gravity, I guess. Okay. So this is so far what it's looking like. We have the straw. Let's call this a straw, because that's what it looks like. We have the straw, the handle, and the batteries. Then we have the capacitors, which unfortunately will be taking up majority of the space. So I don't exactly know how to draw them, because alright. So here we have the capacitors on the bottom. There's 3 like that. So So there's 1, 2, 3, and then so on and so forth. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah. So there's 1, 2, 3, and then it's like split, split, and then it's like that. So I don't know how many there's going to be, but there's going to be 3 rows. Yeah, 3 rows. And then there's going to be capacitors. I guess there's just going to be capacitors until I fill up my arm. Because I can't be like very critical about it, like, oh, I can't have capacitors on the my brachioradialis, because that's not going to be efficient to the overall system. Like, no, I can't, at that point I can't do this because that is way too restricting. Now, what I can do is just do what I drew. Now the straw is where I fill up the item to be projected. Now what will be projected? I'm thinking, I don't know. Because it needs to be something light enough, but something heavy enough that it can... What about a AAA battery? How fast... Wait. No, I can't do a AAA battery. Actually, I can, only if my limitations are gone in terms of the straw itself. So like if I start from here, I can maybe go a full foot of coil. So 4 stages, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then that would work. But since we have 4 stages and 4 individual cells, so like split capacitors, I think the plan is to make it modular. Now, the word modular I don't really like, because that means I need to make everything adaptable to each other. So if it's two coils, then I need to make the timings different. If it's 3 coils, I need to make the timings different again. Would it be like the Iron Man's repulsor at the end? I'll be honest, I haven't seen Iron Man. All I know from Iron Man is that he flies, has a red suit, and he has like the thing in his arm. If that's what you mean, not really. I mean, I could. It's just plasma. So instead of instead of shooting a projectile, you shoot a length of rope to a grounded object that you have a high enough potential to the ground that it just evaporates the rope, or the wire, I mean, and creates plasma. That's basically what it is. But in my case, it's not that. In my case, it's just an arm-attached launcher. Projectile launcher. So, plan number 1, or plan A, this is okay. This is pretty good. I like this. Now, the only thing I don't like is the fact that I have to, slip the band on. Now, the reason I don't like that is because, first of all, who has time? Who has time to do all the preparation, and it's like, oh, is it all, Is it going to slip and fall? Will it do well in the cold? Probably not. So, revision number 2. Let's think about this. I think this is... Wait. Okay, this one. So revision number 2 will be here. Number 2. I'm going to again draw my arm. Maybe do like this so it's easier with the hand. Okay, I think I messed up my hand a little bit. Even tracing out, I think I messed up my hand. it doesn't look very realistic, but you know, okay, it kind of does. Okay, so this is my arm version 2. I think better this one. If instead of making it a sleeve and putting all the capacitors like on the perimeter, I make it a like that, and then like boom. So it's like a cuff. It attaches directly to, let's say that's like where my thumb was, to a beam going here. So it's fully attached via, let's just say rubber bands, or like bands in general, just bands. So here around, or just one big band that like ties, like a Velcro. Let's just say Velcro, sure. So there, like that, and then like that, and then, yeah, good. Good enough. So we have that. This is like an attachment of plastic. It's like a cuff. Here, let me show you. This is the side view. This is what you would see. It's like an upside down U right here. So it basically attaches like this directly, and then it like holds on with bands. So it's very easy. So at any point you can just go and then up and then let go, and then you just take it off. That's my understanding. Because a sleeve, it conforms, but at the end of the day, it can also fall out. And then if you're like sweating, let's say, or running, well, yeah, sweating or running, actually, that is good points. Because the sleeve will get also heavier. If it's raining, snowing, hot, because you're sweating. But yeah. So we have this. We have the cuff. I like this idea. Then we have the 4 stages, which actually will lead out here. So in this case, I'm going to draw it. There we go. All right, here we have the four stages. Well, it's 3, but you know, 1, 2, 3. Okay, here we have the 4 stages. Now, the capacitors and battery is much easier to do now, because for one, we can use this cuff. We can use this cuff to extend it. We can either extend this all the way to make the entire sleeve a cuff, and then put the batteries and capacitors on it, like the plastic, so it just keeps it on. Or, just using this, we can set the perimeter of capacitors and then put the batteries just somewhere else. Now where, I have no idea. Also, the electronics has to be very close to the actual coils, because the less resistance, the better. Okay. Now, what to do? I'm going to charge these batteries. I think that's a good plan. Right now, to figure out how good these batteries are going to be, I'm going to charge it. Also, of course, I'm not going to keep these batteries out in the elements. So it's just going to be 3D printed. I'm going to either 3D print. Oh, wait, look. Exactly what I was talking about. Look at this. It's an arm, like it's an elastic band with a hook on it, or like with a little plastic attachment that I can put, and then look, I can boom, do that, and it's tight. But then I can just go boom, and then it's off. But you know, as in like I can pull this off, but it's just in a band right now, so I can, you know. This is great. How did I even find this? It doesn't matter. Okay, so I'm going to be using this. I'm going to make something out of, I guess, cardboard as a first example. Oh wait, I have cardboard right here. I don't even need to go anywhere yet. Okay. Let me get this cardboard. And then start making stuff. Okay. Alright, so that's that. So this I need to attach up to my wrist. So this to here. So that means this is the wrist limit. There we go. So that is folded up as I would have it. So the wrist is flexible, and then this is also maneuverable. Okay, that's good. Okay. And then this guy. Actually, yeah, let's just do that. Where is my knife? There it is. Now I'm not gonna show you guys because YouTube does not like it when I do anything that they don't like, even though I'm not promoting anything. So all right, here we go. All right, sure. Okay. All right, here we have our little U. Goes on the arm, and sure. Okay. Where's the band? Okay. So now, I just push this band through. There we go. So now I have this little sleeve to easily, like, look how easy this is. 1, 2, tighten this up, bring it down, 3. Wow, that's actually super easy. And it conforms. Well, minus the breaking, but this is cardboard. What can you expect? So yeah, very maneuverable, very, well, minus like this way, but you know, you get what you get in this case. And it did just break, but this has to conform better to my forearm. So here's what I'm going to do. Then I'm going to take the same amount of length, but do it sideways. The reason is because, as you can probably see on the cardboard, it's more flexible this way than it is this way, because this way you can only fold it once or twice, but this way you can fold it many times and have a better shape, I guess, to it. So let's just say, what is this here? So that's here. We'll do a little more leeway on here, and then that's that. Okay. Yeah, that's not exactly the straightest cut, but oh, right. Conforming again. So about here. I can't see. It's about there. I mean, okay. Cool. All right. So now we have 2 pieces. Now we do that. Oh, look. Look how much better that conforms. It's a U, like I... What? Like I showed on the board. That looks very similar. So that... Okay, I do need a bit more this way. So like, let's see if we have any more. No. That is all we have. But that's okay. We can still see how it feels. So that, about there. Okay. Okay. And then okay. There we go. Here's one side. Then we have another. Okay. So here we have it. Full sleeve. There. And then you can adjust it any way you want. And, well, yeah, I gotta be honest. This needs to be a lot, longer to actually fit. Because, like, look at this. Look at the... And it's not better on the other side, too. Like, it's... I mean, here. Let me try to... See? Nothing moved. Okay, there we go. So after 4 very hard swings, it finally broke. Or broke free. But I'm not going to swing it that hard, first of all. And there's going to be weight on here, but it's going to be more optimized. And also, I'll be holding like a piece. So it's going to be like fully constrained. Okay. So that's the general idea. That's the general idea done. Now, I think next video or next stream, once I have everything like sorted, figured out to the to like an 80%, then I'll start working on it. Well, like officially, because I mean I am working on it, but like theorizing. This is all still theory. Next stream is going to be the Pulsar in real life. Well, no more idea. Oh, also, I do have some of these plastic things, so I could also use this as like a form. So it doesn't have to be like plastic from this guy. It can be plastic from a different guy. I don't know. Just as an idea for me in the future. But yeah, I mean, I don't think I have anything else to add apart from like the small cosmetic stuff that I will add later. I just wanted to share my idea with all of you. to anyone who listens and to anyone who watches. But yeah, I'll definitely continue. I do have I have my book somewhere that I was writing, like, what was it, 7 years ago that I said? So, about this. So yeah, I'll have to find that. And whenever I do, or it doesn't matter if I do or don't, I will still record or try to record or stream another video. Apart from that, that's it. we went from 0 to 30%. We still have, quite a ways to go, but we have the majority of the things in terms of hypothetical done. But yeah, that's about it. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys stay tuned for any of my future endeavors or future ideas about this or any other project that you guys might be interested. If you guys are interested in seeing a project you would like me to make, comment it down. Comment it in the description of any video, because I reply to majority of my comments. And if you guys enjoyed, leave a like, subscribe. I don't usually ask for that, but I mean, I might as well. But yeah, have a great day, night, morning, afternoon. Peace.